Well, the Trump administration is seeking an expedited decision from the Supreme Court to overturn court decisions that found most tariffs on imports from other countries are illegal. Well, CTV's Scott Hurst is following this story, joins us live with the latest. Scott, what can you tell us about what the courts have said so far and what Trump is now looking for from the Supreme Court?
Good morning, Jamie. Of course, this could be a big setback to Donald Trump's agenda of imposing sweeping tariffs on trading partners around the world as he has aggressively looked to reshape the global trading economy in favor of the U.S. by declaring a national emergency. So a federal appeals court ruled last Friday that Trump's so-called Liberation Day tariffs are illegal and other so-called national emergency tariffs imposed on Canada and Mexico earlier, and those are specifically in relation to the flow of fentanyl. Now, the U.S. president has vowed to fight it, challenge it to the Supreme Court, as I mentioned, as he has aggressively sought to reorder the global economy. The U.S. president saying in response to the ruling that without tariffs, the country is in serious trouble. Now, the ruling says Trump exceeded his powers under the national security statute he used to impose them, which allowed him to bypass the U.S. Congress. And so, Jamie, what we know from the U.S. president right now is that he has vowed to take this to the Supreme Court, hoping to get an expedited ruling on this so that he could continue to impose his sweeping tariff agenda on many trading partners around the world.
Yeah, well, and speaking of trading partners, Canada obviously facing these tariffs, and curious what could a decision either way mean for countries like ours who are slapped with these tariffs?
Well, specifically right now, Jamie, the tariffs are allowed to remain in place at least through October 14th to allow time for the government to file the Supreme Court appeal. So right now, what it means that all the tariffs are still in place. The U.S. government is still collecting these import taxes. So the big question, though, what does this mean for Trump's trade agenda? Ultimately, if they don't get the ruling they want, and that means the Trump administration, it could be forced to refund some of the import taxes that it has already collected. And according to reports, revenue from tariffs have already totaled more than $159 billion by July. So the ruling, however, does not account for the tariffs imposed on things like steel and aluminum and the punishing tariffs that we've seen on the automobile industry. Those seemingly would be untouched. And as we've seen, Jamie, over the last several months, that these tariffs have been imposed on top of the so-called Liberation Day tariffs that the U.S. president imposed as well. These tariffs on steel and aluminum and the auto industry have had a huge impact on the Canadian economy so far.
CTV's Scott Hurst, thank you.